What up, everyone? Today I'm going to talk about something we're all probably paying attention to right now, and that is the Gamestop Memestock craze. Now, first and foremost, guys, I'm sure a lot of you guys have witnessed the previous couple of years in 2021, Roaring Kitty. He drove this big movement of people and individuals to go buy this stock, and it actually ended up hurting a lot of important hedge funds that were actively short the stock. Shorting the stock is borrowing it, hoping for the price to go down. And buying long means that you're holding it in your core position with anticipation of it to go up. Now, shorting makes the stock price go down, and buying long makes the price go up. That's kind of just a elementary version of explaining it. Now, I want to talk about this because I think it's so important that we understand what is going on. And that is the stock market recently, and I know it has been like this over the past couple of years, but it really has turned into a big casino. And what has really allowed this to happen? Why are we seeing stocks like GameStop and all these others go up 40, 60, 70, 100, 200% in just a matter of a day? How does that happen? And I think there's a lot that goes into this. I think we're seeing derivatives and more advanced contracts that allow all these complex trades really be adopted by a lot of hedge funds and capital allocators. And because of that, they're able to really move the market in large swaths of trades. These markets, they move now with trillions and trillion dollar bets. And for GameStop, that's just an inconsequential, 10, it's an inconsequential $10 billion stock right now, and it could easily move up, another 10, 20, 30, 50 billion, because these hedge funds have so much capital to bet. Now, a lot of these hedge funds historically have been shorting it. Now, there was one recently, and I don't have the name in front of me, but it did buy long actually a few months ago, and it did make a lot of money. But there is this kind of movement, and I don't know how much of it is orchestrated or natural now, but there's this movement for people to buy these stocks in anticipation for the price to go up, but also to hurt the big guys, the hedge funds that are shorting it, that are trying to screw the little guy. And my view of this personally is, hey, if you're trying to make money on this, Godspeed to you. I want that to happen. Also, if you're going to make money on this, treat it like a casino, right? In and out. But the way I look at this is we're kind of starting to see, I'm not trying to be doom or gloom, but this is kind of like the last gasps or breaths of a dying stock market, in my opinion, because we're all trying to chase the latest trend, the latest thing. And at the end of the day, I think it's actually really hurting the investor because they're warping their mind on how they can make money. They're learning the wrong lessons. So this financialization through derivatives is what, in my opinion, is hollowing out America. There's some people making tens and tens of billions of dollars with ease at the expense of individuals who can barely make a few dollars working a minimum wage job. And they can get cheaper access to borrowing this capital. They get better entry requirements. They have better opportunities. And it really is starting to hurt a lot of individuals who, they're getting hit by inflation. And then meanwhile, there's a guy that can, smoke a cigar, have an expensive $50 Uber Eats, and easily make money, like thousands of dollars in a couple of minutes. So this is actually what I think is exacerbating the whole financial system and the wealth inequality within it. The entire market is so closely tied together that if one of these hedge funds were to go under, and I know that all these GameStop people, they're trying to make some money, but also try to take down these guys, I do think it's kind of short-sighted because, yeah, you may be able to take down a hedge fund or two, but this could cause contagion to the broader market. I'm not saying that's going to happen here, and I would never shed a tear for one of these guys. But I'm just trying to say, you got to remember that things are so interconnected nowadays that ruining one institution could mean 5, 10, or 20 more go under, which also has Sue from accounting, Bob the janitor working there, and everyone else. So I wanted to call that out. The next thing is these companies that have the highest short interest, they're the ones getting taken advantage of. So remember, there's some smart people working at these hedge funds. What do you think they're going to do if they're recognizing this? How are they going to position themselves? They're not going to just get bent over and taken advantage of. I think they're going to try to position themselves to weather the storm and make it through this. Now, I do think what I really love about this story is this weakness that has been discovered, this natural weakness by the market, and it can be exploited by retail against the hedge funds. I love that. I'm not a big fan of these guys. They're all an elitist crowd. They all are just trying to make a buck. And specifically, I'm all for people making a buck, but they're doing so in a nefarious way. You are shorting the company, and by you shorting it, you're bringing the price down, and you have billions, tens of billions, hundreds of billions of capital and the media and all the different connections to really push the price down. And you're doing so to make money and to kill a company. You're not doing so because of anything else. And there's no like altruistic or beneficial reason for this. It's just a game that's being played, essentially. And people are getting rich by destroying companies. So I'm just one of those guys where I'm like, man, I hate to always point to it at the end of my podcast, but this is why I hope for Bitcoin right here. Because these hedge funds, they can create money out of thin air. They cannot ever get more Bitcoin than 21 million Bitcoin. And the fact that there's only 21 million is hopeful because, do you think they're going to ever try to be able to get 30 million or 40? No, it's being enforced by the network. Just because you have more coins than someone else does not mean you get more control over the network. These keys are your coins. And that's what solves this entire problem of fake paper money, fake paper derivatives, people getting screwed over, and their currencies getting debased underneath them. And it's one of the most beautiful things that I really honestly do hope we start to see more people start to adopt Bitcoin and start to realize that this whole financial system that we've been taught is just a big scam. Really, I think we all need to be taught that lesson. And some of us arrive to it sooner than others. I do have some concerns with the ETFs. But at the end of the day, this whole Memestock craze, people are trying to chase small percentage gains. And I'm not saying they're small, but they're trying to chase these gains because they're not doing good financially, right? They're looking for anything at all that can help optimize their position in life. And they're willing to put a big bet on that. And I totally understand it because the system is not fair. I just hope that we're not enriching those that we are trying to hurt. And that's the big thing here. So I hope in the future, once we become fully Bitcoinized, that we return to the intrinsic value of everything due to Bitcoin. And I'm hopeful we return to the intrinsic value of a computer. And the computer is $600. And forever and ever, maybe due to deflation and the technology, it'll go down. But forever and ever, you won't be paying $7,000 for a top-of-the-line computer. You can spend $1,000, $600. But with Bitcoin, because it's deflationary, things that are priced in it tend to go down in value. Now, I'm also looking at this and I'm like, all this manipulation, what does this do? It just causes so many endless issues to the people that are working at GameStop. It enriches the media, it enriches the politicians and the hedge funds and the billionaires. Until now. I do think that there are a lot of people that are not very good people that are getting hurt by this. But that's not to say there's not a lot of hedge funds on the right side of this trade now. So keep that in mind, that not everyone that already has money is getting hurt. There's still some people that are going to be coming off very, very well off due to all this craze. Because they're scrubbing the Reddits, they're scrubbing all these different medias. They lost so much money, they learned the hardest lesson in 2021. You think several years later they're not prepared for this? That's not to say we can't keep fighting. and keep putting our best foot forward with both Bitcoin, but also different avenues to try to reduce their positions. But at the end of the day, you got to remember who these people are. They hold the keys to the fiat system. And how do you break that? I think one of them is Bitcoin. Others are gold and silver. And yes, hypothetically, if you were to drive GameStop up to 1,000 a share to some of these hedge funds, I do think it could cause tremendous damage to the shorts, and they may not be able to get bailed out. But those are just some of my thoughts and my sentiment. I'd love to hear what you guys think. I don't hold a position in this at this time. I don't know if I ever will. Who knows? We'll see. But at the same time, we got to keep in mind that we got to position ourselves, because I think we're going to start to see more of this stuff in the future. More of this memetic trading, more of this meme stock culture. I think we are near the fiat end times if things that have no intrinsic value go up 30, 40, 80, 100%. And that's just my opinion. Anyways, I'd love to hear what you guys think. Please be sure to share it, like it, comment. You guys are the best, and I'll catch you in the next one.